Here at Video Game Hour Live, we're obviously very passionate about video games, and every one of us had a very unique moment where that passion began. So today, we're going to look at our very first video games.
First game I can remember playing is Spyro the Dragon for the PlayStation 1. My parents took me to a Toys R Us when I was legit like 3 years old, and I ran off on my own down the toys aisle, and I found this little station. They used to have these set up, and I was just glued to the screen. I couldn't put the controller down, and my parents made the single greatest mistake of my life and decided to get me a PlayStation 1 and a copy of Spyro the Dragon, and the rest has been history.
The first game I ever played was, I think it was Mickey Mousecapades, and that's a really old game. So like the whole game, you're just like, you're Mickey, and then you have to rescue Minnie, and from that point on, it's Mickey and Minnie, and you have like a wand, and you use it to shoot stars at things. I'm not gonna lie, it's not a great game. You walk in through rooms, and you have to like fight enemies in a haunted mansion. It's a whole process. I don't think I've ever gotten past level 2. It was not a fun time, I'm not gonna lie.
The first video game I remember playing was a little game that I think it maybe got a DS remake in Japan. It was called Final Fantasy Legend 2. It was for the original Game Boy. It was released in 1990. Your father leaves when you're a child, and he gives you this magic ball, this magic prism, and then he leaves through your bedroom window. And that's the best part of the whole game. And it's a typical RPG, you know, fight the monsters, get the drops, get special items. And I never got more than a quarter of the way through it because I was 5 and could barely read. So that was good.
So my first game was Age of Mythology, and all I remember, like the first part that I remember of it was watching my dad play it, and I always was begging him to play it, but he never let me. He finally let me play it on this car ride that we were taking that was like 12 hours long, and he sat me down in the car with his laptop, and I got to play it for like a solid 12 hours. It was kind of like a senior graduation present to myself. I went back and I played every single level all the way through in a matter of like a day. It was really fun, and I'm glad that I somehow convinced my dad to let me play it at some point, because now it's one of my favorite games.
My first video game I played when I was a really young lad was I played Mario Bros. For the NES with my mom. And so we played co-op. In the original game, you switched off when you died. One person would play Mario, other person would play Luigi. They're both the same. They didn't have the differences yet. Apparently, I was still a real jerk when I was young, because whenever my mom died, because I was better than her because I just sat home and played all the time, I would pat her on the knee and just go, Ouija died, and then take the controller from her right away. I never beat that game because I didn't realize you could hold the B button to sprint when I was a young kid, so I tried to make every single jump with just an A. And eventually the game will stop you and be like, you need to learn how to sprint and jump. I couldn't do it, man.
My first game that I remember playing was Naruto Clash of Ninjas on the GameCube. We would go over to my cousin's place, and he would have all the games, and I would be the annoying cousin to be like, let's play your video games, let's play your video games, because I never got them back at home. I didn't really know what I was doing. It was just like really fun colors, and I got to control a fun character because they're ninjas, so they look cool as like, who doesn't want to be a ninja? And I just remember playing that fighting game for hours on end while my cousin wanted to go outside, and I made him stay inside and play with me.
My first game was Freddy Fish, and my dumb ass didn't understand it. Like, I gave Grandma Grouper the sandwich, you know, I gave the little crab the neon shell. I got that. I don't think I ever finished those games as a child, but now I can speedrun those games like less than an hour. It's great, but I've just vivid memories of fighting with my siblings in front of the giant computer playing Freddy Fish.
The first game that I played was Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis. I don't ever remember actually beating it, but I do remember being like 5, my brother was 4, and he was always Tails and I was Sonic because I hated it when he played as Sonic because he always killed us. I would just kind of send him out as like my sacrificial boss killing machine. I don't ever remember passing the like Mystic Forest level with all the like candle lights or something. It was like a dark forest with vines that you hung onto. I don't think I ever beat it. My parents didn't like the rating of most of the games on the Genesis. She traded our Genesis for a Nintendo 64, and I was playing Mario Party and Super Mario 64 and all of those lovely titles.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna do an outro.